make sure you hit. Hello, it's Don Texan welcoming you to another episode of The Wave, the wonderful Alberni Valley experience. And with me today is a very special guest and a very dear friend I got this beautiful painting from. We're going to tell you about the story about this beautiful painting. And I'd like to introduce her without much ado. Here is my good friend, beautiful and talented painter, Sarah Williams. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dawn.
How are you?
I'm really great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You look lovely with your nice vintage kimono. Is there a story behind your kimono? Did it come from Japan? Were you in Japan at one point in time?
I had a secret source of getting them for my store.
Ah,
And
okay.
yes, so I ordered in a bunch, but I had to keep a few for myself.
Okay. Oh, you ordered it, but you had a store. Do you still have your store?
Yeah, I shifted it to an online store. It's houseofadornatelier.com. It used to be the place at the Harbor Key.
Okay, so tell us again. I want plug away, darling. What's your store, your online store again?
The online store is houseofadornatelier.com. And it's because
You
my
spell
brand.
that? It's so hard to pronounce. It's hard to spell. House. I mean, I know how to spell house.
House of, and
Okay.
then adorn,
Oh,
A-D,
adorn. Adorne.
no E, just A-D-O-R-N.
Uh-huh.
And then atelier, which is workshop in French, A-T-E-L-I-E-R
Okay. .com or .ca?
.com.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out. I wonder why I didn't know about that sooner. Anyway, so let's start with you were born and raised in Port Alberni.
Yes.
And like most young people, you moved away to seek adventure and greener pastures. So tell me about that.
So I left Port Alberni when I was 18 to move to Vancouver to move in with my boyfriend, Gordon,
Mm-hmm.
who I'm now married to.
Oh, wow. 18 and you're still married? Bravo, darling. Bravo.
I never thought I was going to be that person, but I am. So
Well, there you go. It must be true love. Okay.
yes. So we moved
Okay.
there, and I worked, moved out, got a place, and I did retail and design and buying and anything to do with retail and wholesale for about 10 or 11 years there. I was employed with a local company who expanded into wholesale, and we did linen design and textiles and this sort of thing. So it was quite interesting. But then, and Gordon was in film. We were quite happy there. And then we got pregnant. And, after my baby was born, I really missed my family. And I was reading a lot of, spiritual books and, Eckhart Tolle and, all about Dr. Wayne Dyer, following your inspiration,
Mm-hmm,
your
mm-hmm. I'm
passion.
familiar with those authors. I
Right?
love Dwayne Dyer.
He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm not going to read about this. I'm going to follow it. And I started getting this burning desire to move home. And so we moved home.
And home is Port
Port
Alberni.
Alberni.
Okay. So tell me about the moving back. How did you feel about moving home? You had a spiritual, like, moving inside of you to move back home to Port Alberni.
Hmm. It was just a burning, overwhelming desire. An opportunity came. My favorite store, Grandma's Trunk, was for sale. So I thought, oh, this is the great opportunity. We'll get to move home, have our baby with the family all around, because all our family is here. And then I get to have save my store from closing, because I love this store and I wanted to have. My dream was to have a store. So that's what we did. We bought Grandma's Trunk and we moved home. And I went to work in there, and I did a lot of changes, and I ran the antique store for about 3 or 4 years. And then I started getting involved with a cooperative in Victoria called Malux. And that was professional wedding photography, hair design, makeup design. I started designing more wedding accessories and jewelry, and I got published in a lot of magazines.
Wow.
I wanted to go a little more upscale.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved down to the Harbor Key and renovated a large space at the entrance there. And we did a retail store for about four years there. And it was quite good. It was very busy at first. It's not easy doing retail in Port
Oh
Alberni.
yes, certainly, especially in Port Alberni.
Yeah, I loved my time there. It was one of the greatest times of my life. But the building sold after 4 or 5 years there. And there were all these other signs saying, maybe you should just go online, because so many people would be like, do you have an online store? Do you have an online store? And I thought, well, I want time with my daughter before she's too old. And let's just try this, because I didn't want to be in the building after it had sold to new owners.
Hmm. So
So
how old was your daughter then? I mean, how old is your daughter now?
she's 12.
Okay. So during the time she
So
was about
she's
7
about
years old. Five.
9,
Uh-huh.
8 or
Okay.
9. And so, so yeah, we closed up that. I built my online website after that, and spent time with my daughter. So during that time, she got to, have play dates after school. Mommy made her cookies. That was, like things like that. I got
Hmm.
to do, which I never got to do the whole time she was a child, because I was being at the store all the time. So now I got to do all those things for her. So it was quite nice.
Okay, so we met actually just recently, but you
Yeah.
already knew about me and I already knew about you because of a painting I bought, which is right
Yeah.
there, because blue always catches my eye, and the butterfly holds a lot of symbolism and meaning for me. I mean, the metamorphosis, you start out as an ugly, crawly caterpillar, but then you actually literally die in your cocoon, and then you emerge as a beautiful butterfly. And for me, that's sort of like my story here in Port Alberni. I was dead where I was in the mainland, and I had
Yeah.
to come here. And this became my cocoon for a year, and suddenly I emerged as what I am now, and I'm really very happy. So, I would like to tell you to share with our audience a little bit about your painting. So, is your painting your main thing, or just a hobby that you dabble in?
Right now, it's my main thing. It did not start off that way. It was always my dream. But following the universe and the energy, it grew me from, I was just focused on hair accessories and wedding and bridal, but it wasn't feeding my spirit. So I follow my inspiration, which led me to start painting again, something I kind of, you get involved in, and then I would just stop and
Mm-hmm.
just focus on life. And then a few years would go by and I hadn't painted. So anyways, the energy brought me back to doing the paintings, and then I started selling them, just like one after another. They would sell. So I thought, okay, this is my green flag. Go, 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 keep painting. So yeah, the butterfly was, and I learned from them. I thought, I'm not doing a single painting unless it comes to me an idea. I'm not going to sit here and try and force something. I'm not interested in that. I just want to keep following the energy. And yeah, so the ideas would keep coming, and I got the idea to do a blue butterfly like that. So I painted it.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the blue butterfly. So you painted a blue butterfly and you had it in a hair salon, which I just happened to pass by. It caught my eye.
Yeah.
And you were telling me a little bit about the story of when you found out that I bought it. Could you share that with us?
Oh, yes. Because I can be very sensitive sometimes. Oh, even now I might cry.
Go ahead, darling. I do the same thing.
But I get discouraged sometimes, because when you're following your dream and you can go a month, 2 months, 3 months sometimes, and you don't get that sale, you don't have that confirmation that you're on the right path. So even though, I had success behind me, that doesn't pay the bills every week or every month.
Hmm.
You get discouraged if it's not constantly going or happening for you. So I was kind of feeling like, oh, am I like not making the right decisions here?
Go ahead, darling. Oh, I love it when you share your heart.
Well, and then my paintings were in the Belle's hair care. And then she's like, Sarah, I sold a painting and it was your butterfly. It just
Oh,
made
I
me
didn't even
feel
know
like,
that.
yeah, I was like so happy. Um, just meant a lot to me. Like, no, you keep doing what you're doing. I have you. You're loved and you're safe, and this is your dream, and keep doing that. And that's what that you buying that painting did for me in my life.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea. But now you're making me cry. But now that that painting is at the top of my wall, it has inspired me even more now. Thank you for sharing that story. I had no idea that that painting would hold so much meaning even more now.
Oh, it does. And you know what is so beautiful? When I had the shop, things like that happened a lot too. And people would come in, they'd be inspired by things I had made. I'd be like, you know what? You can do it too, you know? And so I would always use that platform and kind of encourage others. So it's full circle, you know, that you
Oh my goodness.
me, you know? So, and that's also the butterfly, death and rebirth, you know?
Mm-hmm. Death, I mean, death of something, but rebirth of something even better and even more beautiful, right? So thank you for sharing that story. I love it. Now, we got to take a moment. It's a good thing I don't wear makeup.
You're lucky, you have a beautiful face.
Well, the lotions and cream. I will not plug the company, but oil of Olay. So, post pandemic, what I mean, not post pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. I wish it were over already. But before the pandemic, you were doing your online business, so, and you're doing your paintings. Then, when the pandemic hit, at least you were ahead of the curve in a way because you already had your online store set
I know
up.
what I'm thinking, yeah.
And you do have your Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, what's your Facebook page? Where can we find it? Plug away again. Go ahead.
Right now it's Adorn Atelier.
Uh huh.
I'm sort of on a another state of transition. I'm wondering if I should be marketing myself as my name instead of my brand. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm right now on my website, it says Sarah Ply Williams, but also House of Adorn Atelier logo is beside it. But no matter what, if you go to the website, all the information will be on those pages for any of
I
the
see.
pages.
Well, I learned recently from a brilliant young man who I'm going to be meeting with after this interview is there's a way to like forward websites to each other.
Yes.
You can link websites to each other. So no matter how much you change the name, it will still go back to the original. They're all linked together. So that's a possibility as well. And I'm going to learn from him and see what he has to offer, and I'll definitely share it with you.
Perfect.
Now, I'm curious about the name Adorn Italier. So are you Italian?
No, I did that because I wanted the freedom to make whatever I wanted to make. So adorn, because I made
Yes.
the accessories, and atelier is workshop in French.
Oh,
So I
okay,
just thought
okay.
it sounded prettier than adorn workshop. It just sounded like a pretty brand name to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was about, 14 years ago that I came up with that name. So
What about your name? Have you researched the meaning of your name? Because I used to be a minister and a pastor, and I happen to know Sarah means beautiful princess, if I'm not mistaken.
it does mean, I didn't know beautiful part, but I knew the
Oh,
princess
beautiful. Well,
part.
all princesses are beautiful. Have you seen an ugly princess?
Oh, I don't know.
So I guess beautiful is innate in the name princess or the title
Yeah.
princess. So you do know the name that Sarah means princess, right?
I'm not
And
sure
she
which
has a
one.
story in the Bible about, being the mother, the wife of Abraham, who was laughing at the possibility of her getting pregnant. So did your parents give you that name, or did you choose that name? Or do you have a hand in your name, or that was just,
They just gave me that name, but I've always liked
of
it.
course, it's a beautiful name. That's the name of my only niece, because my brothers and my sister all have sons, and there's only one niece in the grandchildren ranks, and my mom has one granddaughter, and her name is Sarah.
Aw, that's very
So I
nice.
think that is a good idea to brand your work under your name because it is a beautiful name, and that's the name I saw in your painting. That's why I was reaching out to you actually. If I remember, I did send you a message. Are you Sarah Williams, who I bought this painting from? And you did reply, but we never had a chance to meet in person up until this chalk art thing that we had at the United Church, and we finally met in person. And here we are having this beautiful interview. So, what lies ahead for the beautiful Sarah Williams?
Well, right now I'm working with the Alberni Valley United Church. I'm their office manager part-time.
Okay, okay.
That was another thing. I just love who they are, and I wanted to, if I was going to work out with other people, it would be with somebody who aligns with my ethics. And I love that they're interested in being stewards of the planet. They're inclusive. So yeah, so I'm enjoying my time with them, and then the other part of my time is with my family and my art. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now I'm curious, do you have any ties to the LGBTQ community in one way or another?
No, not any ties in town or anything.
Except for Atlas United Church because they are inclusive. Because
Yes,
when I first moved to Port Alberni, so when did you come back to Port Alberni?
in 2009.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't here then yet because I came to Port Alberni 2015, and one of the first things I did was to look for a LGBTQ friendly church, and the first thing that came up, actually the only church that came up, was the United Church, and I'm so glad you're involved with them now. So when did it start?
I started in March, just before the pandemic. Like I
Oh,
was
okay.
only there like 2 weeks before the pandemic, and yeah. But it was perfect because they're utilizing my skills. I built a new website for them, and
Hmm.
it's just been working out good so far.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yeah,
so you're a web designer as well? I mean, you do websites?
I do some web designing, and like I do graphic design as well,
Mm-hmm.
some photography, and you don't
You're an
want to talk to me
artist.
because I
You're an
pretty much do
illustrator.
anything creative. Okay.
You got me curious now. Are you a Pisces? A Pisces, because a Pisces is one of the creative signs.
Oh, I'm a Leo.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess there's some. It really doesn't be on the side. You just got me curious.
Okay.
So, what do you attribute your being a creative person to? Like, what has been your inspiration?
My inspiration, I don't.
Well, you did speak about, not all people say those things that you say, like about following your spirit and, this like Wayne Dryer and Eckhart Tolle, and
Oh,
these are people who are spiritual, right?
yes,
So not all people are spiritual. They're more cognitive and logical. That's most people. So I rarely meet people who are in tune with the spiritual aspect of things. So tell me a little bit about that.
well, that's my other huge passion in life is my spirituality. I really have you ever heard of Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks? It's about
Kind
law
of,
of
yeah.
attraction. So they had a huge impact on my life. Um, Basically, following your getting into a good mood and taking inspiration ideas, like taking inspired action once ideas come to you and actually doing them. Also, my Christian upbringing, like and I spent a lot of time at different prayers, like prayer groups and churches. And during the prayer time, I would it's like contemplative prayer where you sit and you focus, and I would wait for inspiration to come and then take action based on that inspiration. But I'm very open-minded and open-hearted. I don't like to label myself as following a religion. It's more about
Yes, definitely.
yeah,
I'd rather consider myself because like I said, I was a minister for almost 20 plus years back in the Philippines,
yeah.
and we even had a television show that was called Turn On to Jesus, which
Oh,
ran for 7 years. That's why my experience in television has been as such.
mhm.
But uh, there's a very fine line between spirituality and religiosity. You can be religious, but you're not necessarily spiritual. But being spiritual, I consider to be a higher plane of existence than being just a religious nut. Like even
Exactly.
the Bible says, God seeks spiritual fruit, not religious nuts.
I had a spiritual encounter. Like I've had many in my life, but it was an encounter of pure love, pure acceptance, unconditional pure love and acceptance. And that love has loved me and healed my life. And that's when I say the energy that I follow.
Mhm.
That's what I try to do my best. I'm a human being and I'm imperfect, but well, I don't know. Other people will say that's not true. I
Well, I
listen
would
to too
like
many
to think of
people
it.
talk.
I was speaking to another minister who says, well, I've come to an understanding. Like, yeah, most people, like ordinary people, perceive themselves as a physical being because we are a human being. But actually, I've come to the realization that we are not human beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah,
And
beautifully.
that's why you are at the right path, following your spiritual energy, following your spiritual flow, because
Yes,
that's where the real things comes from. The real things come from the spirit world, not the physical world. Then the physical world only came out of the spiritual world.
that's
So it has
exactly
to be real there first before it can becomes real here
exactly.
in the
Yes,
physical,
great.
right?
Beautiful. Yes, I agree with you.
Well, I
Yes,
told you I was a minister back then. So, but I've learned a few more things after that.
right.
So, if I were to ask you, Sarah, what would be your top three wonderful Alberni Valley experiences thus far, coming back in 2009?
Um, well, definitely, I loved all my experiences interacting with the people in the store. I met so many beautiful, beautiful people. I made some good friends, and the other retailers too. I know you
Mm-hmm.
ales a lot, and they were
Uh-huh.
so fabulous. People like that. Um, oh, I started a plant-based potluck in town called Plant.
Oh
And
yes, yes. I've heard, I'm
great
a
food.
member. I'm a
Yeah,
member of the group. I'm a member of the group.
yes, you are. So,
Yes, yes. Now tell me
those
about
fabulous.
plant. Just let's talk about plant a little bit. So
Okay,
plant means people
people
learning,
learning a new thing.
a new thing, and this is about plant-based
Plant-based eating. So,
plant-based eating. Yeah, because that's the
every,
upgraded term now. It's not vegetarian, it's not vegan, it's plant-based.
well,
Believe me, I've tried. I've tried to be plant-based, but with my mom cooking all this food, oh my God, it's a daily struggle.
it's the struggle is real, right? No.
So what inspired plant? Tell me a little bit
Well,
about plant.
I'm an ethical vegan myself, but it's very, we're a very small percentage of people. So for me, I feel alone all the time because there's no one around me aside from my core immediate family who is vegan. So I'm like, there has to be more vegans in Port Alberni. I have to meet at least another vegan or someone who's willing to try or eat vegan food because
Mm-hmm.
at that point, no one I knew even wanted to taste the vegan food I had cooked because it was vegan. So I was feeling really alone and isolated in that aspect. So I thought, well, and then I got inspired. Let's just put it out there. Let's see if anyone's interested in a potluck or interested to meet up. So I did, and then someone offered Sydney of the Italian Hall Event
Mm-hmm.
Center. She offered to donate space, and I took her up on it, and we had our first meeting at the Italian Hall.
When
And
was this? This before COVID, of course.
before COVID, this was about I think last February of 20
Mm-hmm.
um,
So
20
I take it you know Canticle. She's the one who told me about plant.
Canticle. Yes, I met
Yes,
her
yes,
at potlucks.
yes, yes. She's the one who told me about plant, and so I signed up.
Oh, great!
Too bad we can't do the potlucks anymore. Are,
I
are, are there
know.
potlucks coming up? I mean, we're allowed 6 people.
Well, I was thinking July, maybe an outdoor one would be okay. A socialization
Okay.
potluck outside at a park somewhere.
Well, my yard is big. I have the bee moor garden. I have a gazebo. I have a sun
Oh,
deck. We could have it there. I
that
have
would be
tents we can
amazing.
pop up and, tables and chairs and everything. So, uh, keep me informed and we can work something out.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Thank you.
So you have plant and you have your website
Yes.
and you have your art and your painting. And so as a final word, because we are out of time, what message would you like to share to all the other people who are undergoing their wonderful Alberni Valley experience?
Oh, just keep enjoying life and follow your energy, follow the inspiration.
I love that. Follow your energy. So that could be the wonderful Alberni Valley energy right there. I could
Beautiful.
even change that now. Well, thank you, Sarah. It's been so nice talking to you today. And, you've warmed my heart. Thank you for coming on the show. And that painting now will be more meaningful to me now that you've shared that wonderful story. Keep on following your energy and more power to you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. That's
Bye-bye.
it for the wave. We'll catch you next time, guys.